Welcome. Hello, everybody. To another episode of vibe-acious babes. My name is Audrey Tan. This is lovely Angel Ortiz Jr.
Ooh.
If you would like to...
Oh, yes.
God. Still.
Oh, yeah, about that.
Fool.
No, I'm just kidding.
Mortal.
Welcome, y'all. Welcome especially to our newest viewers. We really appreciate y'all.
Yes. Hello.
Basically, what we do is just like vibe-acious things. We talk about things that have to do with like spirituality.
Like that wasn't a word we made up.
Yeah, no, we didn't make up that. It was made up.
Yeah.
We talk about metaphysical things, just becoming a better human. So welcome, y'all. My name is Angel. You can follow me on Instagram at Avocado Papi. I'm an artist. I have my own business with my boyfriend called Deity Studios. We're releasing our first big project called Brujas. It's a comic book.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. First
Super
5
cute.
pages are being released on October 31st. So right now we're like gearing up for that. We're getting all of our assets ready for that.
Yes.
And that's exciting. I also have a Patreon if you want to support us there as well. And that's
Nice.
basically it.
I love that. I will have his link tree and his Instagram down below in the description box. And my name is Audrey Tan. I go by at first.generation on Instagram. You can follow me there for more updates on YouTube videos that are going to come out. I'm currently in the middle of editing my first travel vlog. I stopped streaming on Twitch, so just watch out on my YouTube channel for any video games that I might be playing and recording. So hopefully, I will do like a little surprise Twitch stream every once in a while whenever I feel like playing a video game. So
Right.
I'm just currently like super tired and zoned out, and I kind of want to make sure that this podcast is good and caught up on all of the platforms that we've already signed up for.
Yeah.
So you can find us on Spotify, but only the 2nd through the 5th episode are out currently. I will be working on that after this podcast right now
Take your time.
to do the rest of the episodes. But this is episode 14.
That's
Ooh,
crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Right? We've been doing this for 14 weeks straight already.
That's
So.
I was not aware. That is crazy.
That
I
is
love that.
crazy,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
That is so cool. But so blessed to be able to do this, to have all the things that we have, to be able to do this. And thank you for watching as well. If you guys do like our content, please follow us on Instagram on vibe-acious babes. Yeah. And then also on YouTube, you can go and subscribe. I release all of our podcasts on YouTube first before Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and Google Play stores. So
Period.
watch out for those platforms soon. Anyway, how has your week been, my love?
How's my week been?
Yes.
Honestly, I have just been coasting. That was my first full week of working and like getting all of my stuff out for my cute little drawing series that I'm doing on Instagram. If you don't know that I released a $15, like you basically get a little cute icon or t-shirt design or whatever you want to use it for. But I just mainly been juggling work and more work.
Yeah.
And then more work. But like, it's fun. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm living my life very
It's enjoyable
passionately.
work.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
enjoyable. And yeah, that's kind of like a little sneak peek at what we're going to be doing, talking about next week. But
Yes.
not to give away too much.
No, you can.
That's basic. You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, bet.
Go ahead. Let them know.
So basically this next week, we're going to be practicing a lot of gratitude, a lot of enjoying the journey of us getting to where we need to go, because I noticed that we were both like very much in the energy of like, I can't wait for this to be done, and I can't wait for me to finally have this certificate or have my comic book out. And I feel like I want to enjoy the process of me releasing my first big project. You know, I want to enjoy myself in the moments of the creating of the flyers and the posters and the prints and the t-shirts, and I want to enjoy that process.
Good.
And I don't want to view it as me grinding or me working for that bag, you know. I want to like sit in that moment and enjoy it
This is
peacefully.
something I want to do.
Yes. And not just that, but also my regular job. Like I want to sit in that moment and be like, this is all for the greater good of myself and the people around me and my relationships.
Exactly.
So that's what this is basically going to be an experimental kind of week of us doing that and practicing that mindfully. And then we're going to come next week and talk about our experience and like how it affected our emotions, how we are feeling and stuff like that. So basically that's my idea for this upcoming week. And I've kind of like been practicing that here and there during this week. So I feel good and light, but actually doing it with some like accountability buddy would be even more better.
Yeah.
Even more better.
Even better.
Even better.
Just even
better. That one.
God, I hate it. Yeah, I think that is like such a good idea, especially since it is such a like difficult time for us, where it's more of like every day kind of feels the same. But it's a good thing in a way that we have a routine. You know, a lot of people aren't even privileged to have a routine themselves. But in order for us to, you know, actually get the things that we want, we have to work for them. You know what I mean? And like a little bit of hard work goes a long way. And I think that I also just kind of got lost and like jaded in the process of getting the certificate, because it is a lot of fun. It's just right now we're not in the fun stuff that I like to do. I'm more of a front end person for sure, because you get to see like how things move and all that stuff. So I'm like ready for us to finally wrap this up with our main project. But I find myself also really enjoying like each day that I'm there. Like I laugh a lot when I'm in class. Like I'm actually making really nice personal connections with a lot of people that I like have come to really appreciate, because everybody has a different mindset. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. Like it's such an interesting class, honestly. And I really enjoy the people that I'm like in the class with. So
I love that.
Yeah. So I think that me expressing like the gratitude for those things and having such a like nice environment for me to learn, I think that that is something I will be like gravitating my gratitude towards, because
that's awesome.
It's just it's been so fun. Like
yeah, I'm happy that your instructors are able to create that kind of like culture in your classroom, because
I love it.
There's some classrooms that definitely teachers kind of have the more of the like, well, you're not gonna make it, this isn't gonna fly, like that kind of mindset. And it totally creates a toxic environment.
So, I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that.
dumb. But I'm happy that they're providing that kind of energy for you there.
Yeah, I love it. And our instructor, actually, he just made us cookies yesterday, and then he brought them in today. Yeah, I let you have
I had one. It was so good.
They're so good.
They're so fluffy. I was like,
I know, but crispy.
How do you do that?
I loved it. I loved it. It's so good. There's still more, so I'm
say less.
Gonna steal a bag. Okay. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell nobody. You're supposed to be on the diet.
He's been, well, look. Look, I might have had 3 cookies today.
You're bad. And then you eat most of the what you brought me.
What? What?
You're bad. What?
I literally am so good every other day.
Yeah, you're right. You deserve 3 cookies. And the one you brought me.
No, that was the 3rd one.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
So just
that's
3.
Fine. That's fine. That's
just
fine.
3.
I'm not gonna shame you anymore.
I didn't even say that I brought it for you. I just said that I brought one back, and then you just took it. You
My bad.
No, it's okay, because I ate all of it.
Yeah. Well, it was good anyway.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll bring some.
More. My bad. I didn't know that was just for you.
No, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. I did offer you. I did offer you. It was like a body language offer. No, it was a body language offer.
Yeah, you're right.
You saw it. You knew. But yeah, it's been fun.
It sounds like fun, honestly. Like when you come home and tell me about your day, like it sounds fun. There are some challenging parts that you talk about, but going through that, I feel is like character building. I hate to like put it to that level, but unfortunately, character building is always good. Seeing what you can take, what you cannot take. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, I've been like really pushing my boundaries with this class too, honestly, in like so many different ways.
Right.
Ow. He said.
Yeah, I didn't say that. You said that.
You said that. You literally said ow.
I said oh.
Go 2 very different O's.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm scared.
No, what the heck? People can watch this. What is that stuff?
I think it's the energy that you're giving. It's just the Page of Cups. This is a very like like kiddish kind of vibe to it, but
Oh,
it's very a young person like
I like it.
stepping it into their world and just experiencing it, like having a good time.
Having a
The
great
cups
time.
being emotional, the cups being representative of emotions and creativity, and like which you have
Nice.
a Cancer moon, so you're perfectly at home in this type of energy, which I
Yes.
think you should definitely embrace.
Okay.
And it sounds like fun, honestly.
I'm
Sounds like a
having
good
a lot
time.
of
Oh shit, I'm in.
fun. Yeah.
It sounds like a good time. Nasty bitch.
Ew,
I'm just kidding. I'm
whatever.
just kidding.
Don't gaslight me right
I'm sorry.
now. I'm not
No.
even that nasty.
Ow.
Maybe.
LOL.
Anyway, yeah, so he just explained Page of Cups. What about
Just a
you?
little
Do you
bit.
tap into this energy? Or do you think that's just
I
too
feel
much
like,
me?
no, that's definitely your energy, but I do enjoy some like sensual, like young energy. Like it makes me
Oh,
feel young again. You know what I mean?
sensual.
Even though I'm old.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm not
you're
old.
right.
I'm not that old.
Oh.
Don't say that again.
You said that
I
first. I
know.
just
My bad.
agreed.
My bad. My bad.
I'm just kidding.
But I love this energy because it's just fun,
Hmm.
creative. You know, it's kind of like tapping into like your younger mind to like do an art project or some shit. You know what I mean? Like
Ooh,
that kind of vibe.
I do
So that
like
might be
that.
an interesting way for people to like embody this energy out there,
Hmm.
is just by sitting down and like seeing whatever like emotions come forward on a page or like a
Ooh,
painting or anything like
nice.
that. So very
I love
fun.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. That might be a cute little episode just to like put out like us working on things and like whatever
Ooh,
emotions come to mind. This is what da da da.
ooh, I
Just
do like
something
that.
like a art therapy session, but it would
Ooh,
just be a cute little short. It wouldn't be like a
oh my God, we could go to
episode.
like the McNay.
I would love that.
Oh my
You better
God.
stop. Friend date.
And we could take
Friend date.
cute pictures.
Yeah.
That
I
was
know
like
that's
our
something that we
first
need to
one.
do for our Instagram anyway,
We
because I've been
do.
like, I have nothing to post.
I know, literally
But
me.
we're just so busy. But I feel
Yeah,
like that's part of the whole like feeling grateful for this upcoming week and like
it's
actually
true.
making time in our schedule to do so, because we
Hmm.
got to make time. That's the only,
We gotta make time.
yeah.
And that's okay. I
Hmm.
like making time,
Me too.
you know?
Setting time aside to like enjoy yourself and like enjoy
Exactly.
what life has to offer. I had
Hmm.
told her like life is a buffet, bitch. Like you got to enjoy it.
Period. You know, I gotta indulge myself every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's not an everyday thing, though, you
Once you
know?
lose the curiosity in life, you kind of kill any kind of hope of like romance or like
Ooh.
delving deeper into a friendship relationship. Like you kind of
Yeah.
like, and I
I
need
hate
that.
it.
I need that. And that's definitely what this energy is
You
like,
know what?
what?
I'm sorry. You can
No,
continue.
no, no. That's basically it.
Oh, okay. Well, so I wanted to talk to you today about this guy too. It's not even like I'm not romantically interested in him. This is a totally like, mutual like friend. We're just friends. He's older, he has a wife, a kid
Oh,
and everything. So, and he's in my class and I respect him a lot. But today he was saying a little like that caught my attention a little bit.
mm-hmm.
He was trying to tell me like, oh, that's kind of weird that you go to places alone. And I was like, "God, why is that weird though?" Like, and I've heard that
Mm,
from several people where they just don't think that they would be able to go to places alone. And I'm just
okay.
like, well, what makes you not want to go to places alone? And they're just like, well, he specifically today said, I don't know, I'm just not comfortable with going to places like by myself. I don't think that that sounds like a lot of fun, and sounds just like really lonely, and I was
Oh,
just like, I'm good though, like I love being by myself. And
yeah.
he's like, that's kind of weird, and I was like, is that kind
It's kind of weird that you think you go.
of weird? Yeah.
I don't.
you
I'm
know
getting heated. Like I don't
you
know
know
why,
what
but I'm
I
getting
mean?
heated a little
I
bit.
was a little bit like, what do you
Taken
mean? I
aback.
have issues, you have issues.
Yeah, you
Like,
can't even be alone.
it's
No, I'm
like
just
the
kidding.
Spider-Man pointing at each other. All
I'm
three
glad you
of
didn't
them.
pop off on him because that would have been
Oh no.
funny.
I know that everybody is different. I know that everybody thinks in a different way, a different light, and different manner. Like everybody's mindset is all over the place. And
Right,
one person's healthy might be another person's toxic or something.
right.
You
That's so
never
true.
know. Everybody's standards are different. So for him though, like that for me, when I hear somebody saying that, I feel like, oh, well, obviously you just aren't comfortable being by yourself. And like, I don't know where it's coming from. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but
Right.
also like that's something that you should admit and then like work on, because that
Right.
would make you into a better person for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For yourself.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like that's why he feels so self-conscious a lot, is because he like can't resolve these feelings. He doesn't think that there's an issue in feeling these kinds of feelings, where like he's kind of dependent on other people to like be there and validate him.
Right. To balance off somebody else in order to like make the situation like
You
more
know,
comfortable to his taste.
that's how it seems to me.
Right.
Maybe in reality he just like will always have that comfort in life of like having a spouse, or like
Right.
having somebody there with him, and that's totally fine if you think that way. But I think like before you can even try to love somebody else in that way, you have to love yourself first.
Right.
And I used to not believe that at all, so I was just like, this is like a big turnaround for me.
Ooh,
For
a little
sure.
world moment.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. But then I was just like, I used to also think like him though. I'm not mad at him for thinking that way.
I used to be like that too. Like, I can't be
Exactly.
alone, bro. Like, I'll
Yeah.
fucking have a panic attack or something.
Literally that. And then what? Like,
You have to come
shit.
cuddle me now. Oh no. Like, like, it was not
Oh,
cute.
boy.
I didn't think it was cute. Little
It
phase of my
wasn't.
life. Yeah.
It wasn't. And like, I just don't want other people feeling that way, especially if it's somebody that I do appreciate and I do respect. You know what I mean? I would like for him to like be able to be a little more introspective, but I think that's a little bit too much to ask for
Yeah.
from people who like just don't really have that capacity to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. Like, all of us are different, but
Yeah. Also, you're not like a therapist or a psychiatrist to like
Exactly.
guide somebody through that.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
And
or
we're
like
not
a-
even like close friends like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But that's cool that y'all had that conversation. You kind of like gave an insight onto like how you value your own time and energy.
Yeah.
Whereas he
I love it.
has the type of, that's weird.
Yeah.
Which I mean, how old is he?
He's like 36, I think.
Yeah, that
he's not even-
generational like gap is interesting.
It's not even like too bad, but now that I like think about it, literally my late boyfriend was like would be the same age as him. So it's just kind of like, okay, I
You
see
think
it
it
now.
was, oh, that's so interesting because it actually goes into our topic,
Oh, yeah.
which is guilt today,
Yes.
which was her idea.
Da-da-da. Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's that thing.
We still need to make that ad lib.
Yeah.
We'll do
That's
it
okay.
one of these days.
Yeah, one of these days.
So basically, I'm using him as an example. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
this is true about him, but what tends to happen is that like I feel like guilt is definitely taught.
Okay.
You know what I mean? At a younger age, because there's some like languages out there that don't even have guilt in their vocabulary. It's more of they have the word like shame and like
Ashamed.
being
and-
ashamed. Yeah. But guilt is not something that is in other people's languages, like Americans.
Okay.
So when we tend to think of guilt, it's something that's kind of like put onto us as children. And maybe he's feeling some type of way about that. Like, for example, what pops up to me in guilt is like, oh, I didn't spend enough time with like my siblings or something like that because I was too busy getting my education or like working or having my own life.
Okay.
And maybe I might have guilt about that. So I won't leave people alone, or like I feel like I can't leave people alone because I need to be there for them. You know what I mean? So maybe
Okay.
he's feeling some degree of that. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying like maybe he like has some kind of guilt, or maybe he has some kind of like emotions that he doesn't want to tap into in order to like become a person who's okay by themselves.
I think that shame is more of like self-inflicted kind of like emotions, where it's like you're ashamed of yourself, or you should be ashamed of yourself, kind of like somebody else is either pushing that shame onto you, that guilt onto you, or you're just personally blaming yourself. It's basically just like blaming
guilty,
yourself for
yeah.
something. Yeah. But guilty is actually being like, I feel more you inflicted something on others. You know what I mean?
No.
And now inwardly you feel guilty because you did something bad, or like you said something bad, or you just feel guilty about how things had ended, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I feel like there's just so many different kinds of guilt, but that's not the same as shame. Like they're
Right.
two kind of very different things, because
You're the one that recommended we talk about guilt. So where did like shame come into play and then develop into guilt for you in that
So,
conversation?
I can't really remember when I had that like aha moment, honestly.
Yeah, no, it
It's
was a
hard
week
for
ago.
me
It was a week
to
ago, girl.
Yeah, so I think that shame for me was like a way that made me grow as a person, but it was because other people was telling me to have shame, to be embarrassed, to understand that what I did was wrong.
Right.
So it made me think about myself in my head. And it was just about me though. It was about me and my actions. Even if it wasn't like my own fault, the blame that other people put on me made me feel ashamed.
Right. Or guilty. Do you
Well,
feel like it's interchangeable or?
I don't know, because shame is something that you feel towards yourself, right? But guilt is a feeling that you have towards somebody else. I feel like,
No,
or
that makes sense.
you feel guilty because of something that had happened to somebody else. It might not be because of you, but was because you empathize, because you sympathize, you know what I mean? Or because you understand the consequences of your actions. You're like, oh, okay, well, now I
Okay.
feel guilty, you
Okay, I
know?
see where your thought pattern was coming from.
Shame is kind of like other people are kind of inflicting that emotion on you, whereas guilt is like something you feel inwardly about yourself or somebody else, or
In regards to somebody else.
exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think that you know, both are not necessary anymore, you know, after especially last week's conversation that we had. I think that that kind of turned my thinking around on shame and how it is a really good, not a really good, but like a tool to use as like a way to show people how they should think, or like, you know, what they should be actually ashamed of. But I don't think that anymore. Like after that conversation last week, I was like, okay, obviously shame doesn't work on everybody. Like it worked on me because I had so much of it growing up. Like people would push that on me
Right.
growing
And
up.
you had to get over it.
Yeah. But now that leads to me as an adult feeling guilty about things that I shouldn't feel guilty about. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just about that learning process, that learning curve, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what about you? Do you think that there's a difference between guilt and shame?
That's what I was trying to ponder when I was reflecting on the topic that you chose, because I was all like, is there much of a difference in shame and guilty? And I think you're right, there is. Shame being induced by other people and guilt kind of being more of something that you feel whenever you do something wrong to another person, which, you know, they still kind of sound the same at the end of the day.
They
To
kind of
me,
do. But then if I put it like this, you know, there's people who feel survivor's guilt. You know,
okay.
people who have passed away, they feel guilty because they are still alive. They feel guilty because maybe that should have been them. You know what I mean? But then you can't feel ashamed that you're still alive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that would be the right
Ooh,
word.
that is so beautiful.
You know?
I love that you put it like that.
Right? So it's just more of like different kinds of feelings, because people wouldn't tell you to be ashamed that you're still alive. People wouldn't be like, I mean, there could be those people, but that's not what they're
Most
actually
people are
feeling.
terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
They need to focus on themselves before saying something that awful.
Literally, that's so fucked up. But that's why I'm just like, okay, well, in that context, for sure, you know, shame and guilt are kind of two very different things. It could be same coincidentally because of the feeling that you have inside, you know, whether it be towards yourself or towards other people, or because of something you did, or because somebody did to you.
Right.
Interchangeable for sure.
Yes.
But in contexts like where there's like a specific situation, I think, you know, there's times that you feel shame because you're like, oh, that was kind of embarrassing. Oopsie.
Yes.
Then there's guilt where it's like, oh shit, I did something bad. Oops.
I did not mean to do that.
Híjole. Yeah.
Our next, which you already kind of going into with the survivor's guilt. I don't mean to like pry too much, especially at the beginning, but did you feel that like when your late boyfriend passed away?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that I felt it mostly because I was supposed to go on that trip with him. And also he has a really like shitty way of saying goodbye. he used to always have a really shitty way of saying goodbye, because a lot of the time I would be mad because I knew what he was about to go do. Like, I knew he was either going to go see his ex, or he was going to go, get drugs, or go be around people on drugs and shit like that. So it was just like, I knew already what he was doing. So I felt guilty just knowing that I'm like not doing anything greater than just letting him go, and live his life. But that's literally all he wanted. He just wanted the freedom to do whatever he wanted with his life. And I gave him that. I was just like, okay, fine. Like, whatever the consequences are going to be the consequences. But I never knew that it would be that extreme,
Right.
I
How
just
could
thought
anybody.
yeah, exactly. Like, it was whatever with the cheating. After a while, I was just like, okay, whatever, as long as he's just safe. Like, I don't really care that he's cheating on me. Like, sex isn't
Right.
really everything for me in a relationship anyway. But then, like, he just started getting more and more dangerous. He started doing like more things that were just so questionable, that I kind of detached from the situation whenever he had fully like passed away. And like, a year had gone by, and like, I visited his grave for the last time, and I think that will be the like complete last time, because I just don't see myself going to see him in a place that like he didn't even want to be in. You know what I mean? Like, he
Right.
literally wanted to be cremated and spread across the fucking world and shit. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'm like, whenever, you know what I mean? If we're gonna get married, I'll do that for you too. Like, but if not, then I'll try to still do it for you, but I couldn't. So there was also guilt about that.
Ooh.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like all of these things are out of my hands. I don't feel that guilt anymore. It took me a little bit, like maybe more than a year. And I still sometimes do have those feelings of like, damn, like, well, this could have happened, that could have happened, but it didn't. I'm here right now, and I'm healthy, and I'm alive, and I'm happy that I am.
Right.
I think that I've learned a lot in the past few years that I haven't had him around. And honestly, probably more than I could have with him around. So I think that his ultimate sacrifice was something that, was kind of better for everybody. Like, and I'll just have to think about it like that, so that it's something that sits well with me. I'm not going to have the closure that a lot of people get to have when like they know that somebody's going to pass away. Like, I will forever not know why he went on that trip, why he went out with that woman, like what he was doing when he was over there, why he trusted her to drive his truck, like whether he wanted to do it or not. I'll never know. But that's also just like closure that I just don't need. That's like, what are those answers really going to do for me? Are they going to help me in any way? Are they going to make me feel better in any way? Is it going to change anything that has already happened? Like, no, nothing is going to change what had happened. And I just have to keep moving forward. And at the same time, like, I wish that other people would also realize that without it sounding so harsh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a hard thing to hear.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people might think that I might seem a little heartless when I say things like that, especially concerning somebody that I like love and I poured my heart out to. It's kind of like, oh, why would you say like, it was better that he passed away? Like, no, you don't get it. Like, it was better that he had passed away because he was the one struggling.
He
like,
was suffering
he
with
was
the addiction.
Yes, and his mental state was not the same anymore. Like, he just wasn't the same person that he was when I first met him. And like, I hate that I say it like that, but it's not even like in a romantic comedy way. It's like a dude that fucking bad. Like, it got bad. So honestly, I'm glad that he's in a happier, peaceful like state. Yeah, I love it. I can only just imagine like what it feels to be a free soul in the universe,
Right.
to be able to choose your next adventures.
That's a beautiful way of like
what I hope.
Releasing him from your mind. Yeah,
He's free now.
he's free.
And I love that.
When you were going through that guilt, like what kind of like emotions and behaviors came up?
Ooh.
Especially with the behavior.
Well, a lot of sadness for sure.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of sadness. I feel like I did experience like all 5 stages of grief. And I wasn't as mad as I thought I would be. There were a couple of times that I was mad, that I was like, why the fuck were you with that woman? Like, why the fuck did you have to do all that shit? Why did you take my card? Why did you tell me this? Like, he literally left saying, like, before his last hug, you never know if you're gonna see me again, so come here, baby. And I was like, you're right, I love you, have fun, like, be careful, drive safe, you know, do all the stuff that I usually do and say to him. And then I didn't know. Like, he normally says that. So that's why I was just like, he's just fucking saying this again. But damn, it wasn't. It
That is
wasn't
crazy, man.
right?
Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I would never say that to somebody.
He literally always told me that he thought that he was
But
going
it's
to die
true.
young too. I was like, why are you putting that curse on yourself? And he's like, well, I'm bound for it. I already know. Like, my mom and dad both died young, you know. The only person that's going to be alive after this is going to be Sanjay. And I was like, why do you talk like this? I hate you. Like, stop that. Yeah. So he knew. He fucking already knew.
That's
too.
the void. The
So
void
crazy.
be talking.
Exactly. You know. And that's why I just, like, it's cool that I let it go. The behaviors that I had while I felt all that guilt, all that, like, you know, maybe I could have stopped it. Maybe I could have this, that, like, closure kind of deal, you know. I just cut everybody off that I needed to cut off. I, like, you know, kept responding to his friends up until maybe 2 or 3 months after his funeral, because I was like, I honestly, like, I don't owe any of these people anything. They don't know me. They weren't there for me when I needed them to be there for me and for him in particular. Like, people just thought that I was being like a overly cautious, maybe like toxic girlfriend. But in reality, I was like, please God, like, don't be on motherfucking drugs right now. Like, I would be hoping that he would be with one of his friends that weren't on drugs actively. And those are the people that I would message, because I thought that they would understand, but they didn't, because they didn't know, like, what was going on.
The extent to how things were looking.
Yeah. And so it was like desperation. I made a lot of desperate acts to, like, reach out to these people, to, like, reconnect with Vinod again after he had passed. Even with his family, I tried, you know, but then at the end of the day, like, whenever I made peace with, like, Vinod passed away, there was nothing I could really do about him passing away. There was nothing I could do, like, about the funeral, because, I mean, I wasn't even his wife, you know?
Right.
Like, I was just his girlfriend. And, you know, I don't know. It became something so, like saddening, I guess, like melancholy.
For sure.
I feel that mindset of change, though, of how I can turn things into something positive. I definitely got that, like, divine feminine energy in that moment of him passing away. And I feel like it was also partially due to me meeting you, because I wasn't in touch with my spirituality or my femininity or anything, you know, even objective to this realm that we talk about, you know. I really didn't know myself. I didn't love myself. I wasn't confident in myself. And now, like, 2-3 years later, girl, I feel it. I feel good. I look good.
I told you, bitch.
I feel like a
bitch.
bad bitch. I don't know. Like,
that's what I was trying to say in our last podcast, was like, that was only like 3 years ago that you were dealing with all that nonsense. And for you to come this far and be who you are right now, going to school again and hoping for a better future for yourself, like, it took a lot.
It did.
And, like, you know, there's always going to be stuff to work on all the time. So
I love a good challenge, you know?
Until the day we die.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part. You know, that's the fun part, right?
Fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. I feel like I've had enough character building, though.
I know, right? Like, sometimes it's good to take a break and just go to the beach and relax, you know?
Yeah,
So
maybe not the
period.
beach here.
Yeah, not here.
Not the dirty.
Yeah, don't.
And tarantulas. You said.
Oh, yeah, we do have tarantulas in
Said
Corpus.
that's disgusting. disgusting.
It's beautiful. It's
I
a circle of
cannot
life.
fucking believe that shit. That's so
I'm
gross.
dead. You're dumb.
So what about you? Have you ever, like, recently been dealing with any kind of guilt or
Something that like when I was like thinking about it, um, what I felt guilty about was not being there physically for like my brothers and sisters or sister. And I felt guilty about it because one of them was you know, telling me that themselves.
oh.
And so I had to deal with like I didn't know what to say almost, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
didn't know that me being there was going to be such a big deal to you or them or anything, and I felt guilty that I was it sounds crazy, but focusing on my own life and making my life better for myself.
Yeah.
But in the long run, it was going to be better for all of us if I became successful. You know what I mean? So that's what
It's
I always
true.
had in my mind. But in doing so and pursuing success in the eyes of like society, I had let my brothers and sisters like down or sister down in their eyes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I felt guilty that they had felt that towards me. And I felt like I could have done a lot more in like calling them and like texting them, even just like making more visits towards them to them and like making sure that they're good. But I didn't.
But also,
And
did you really even have the means to do all of that?
I
You
did
know?
not. Like I was very much just like survival mode for most of my days here in San Antonio.
I
And I
see.
feel like those are the things that they did not see, that I didn't let them see, was that like sometimes I was eating fucking bread and eggs. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was like very much struggling just to put food on in my stomach some days, and there was some days where I was like even dealing with mental issues and emotional issues as well. And I didn't want them to see me like that. So no, me knowing all that, you know, it kind of helped me forgive myself, which I think that's the big thing in today's talking point, which is guilt and how to get over it, which is forgiving yourself for the lack. But also understanding why you were in no position to provide any type of support when you were just trying to support yourself. And the only reason they had that perception of me being well off or like that I'm good is because I created that mask for myself to present myself towards them.
Okay.
And so they kind of saw me and they thought I was fucking living it up when in actuality I was fucking struggling, you know?
Okay. I see.
So
But you know, we have to make it seem like we're having a good time too. You know what I mean? Like, and
exactly,
it's not like we aren't. It's just some days are harder than others.
exactly.
Everybody can admit that. You
And
know.
so after I had explained all that to them, it was like he finally understood that I wasn't neglecting them on purpose. And to even like have me to that standard of like even neglecting them was not wrong of them, but definitely something that wasn't benefiting them, like dwelling on. You know what I mean? So, you know, we have a better relationship now and things have grown, and I always focus on my family relationships when I'm living my life. So that's it, honestly. Yeah.
Period.
So that's what came to mind when I was feeling guilty. Some like physical things that happened to me while I was feeling guilty was I would not get out of bed. I was not like taking care of myself. I wouldn't eat. Like I just felt so like bad that I kind of like was just so like victimizing myself, and I wasn't able to like go to work or like do any of that kind of stuff back then. Nowadays, like I understand that that's not like I'm not my emotions, and that I need to kind of like guide myself towards more positive mindset, especially when tackling my relationships with my family members that struggle with like mental abuse or mental issues and substance abuse. And like and that's part of the craft system, you know what I mean? Always going back to the craft system, honestly. Sorry.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's a good tool. It's a really good tool to use when like viewing the dynamics of your relationships. So
That's true. But I think that's a really good, like, and like, do you think that you've grown from that though? Like, in what ways have you grown?
I would say like anybody trying to make me feel guilty, I don't let it affect me to the degree that it used to,
Okay.
which was, you know, me lying in bed until 7 o'clock at night, and then finally I probably might go to the gym without any food in my stomach. You know what I mean?
Oh boy. That's not good.
Which is why the gains were not gaining.
Yep. Gains ain't gaining.
Gains ain't gaining. And so feeling those type of emotions really puts your whole like life kind of on stall. And so seeing that now, you know, understanding like the nuances that go into having a healthy life have changed, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I feel better now.
Well,
At
that's
the end of
good.
the day, I don't let anybody kind of like trip me up or like make me feel guilty, because that will definitely like send me into a spiral, like it used to. But I'm all like, do you even have merit to do this? Like, who are you to tell me that I'm not working hard, or I'm not pushing myself in the gym, or I'm not doing this and that? Like,
Exactly.
that's how
Tell
I feel.
'em.
And I'm not anybody like, also like, I have no right to tell you where your lack is. Like, there is such thing as critiques in the art industry though. So, you know, some critiques are,
That's fine.
oh, especially with, you know, like our relationship as friends, or like me and Merlin's relationship, like critiques are needed for a better relationship to
Right.
unfold.
Yeah.
But just a random Joe, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Like,
I don't care about you. Yeah, what the heck?
I'm like,
Or
that's
like,
crazy.
if you weren't in a, I don't think that there's like a better place, or like, you know, if we're talking about equality and equity here, I don't want to be taking no critiques from somebody who doesn't even love themselves. Like, that's on or respect themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you better be taking good
Like
care
an
of
incel.
yourself. You better be taking good care of your bills. Like, everything of yours has to be taken care of in order for you to come at me like that.
Right.
In order for me to respect your opinion of me,
Right.
I have to see that you are also putting in your work too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just respect people, even if you come from money. I don't give a shit unless you made that money yourself. If you made that money working hard, you know, whatever it may be, an OnlyFans, a serving job, whatever, I will respect you however you get your bag. That's on you. But if you are not getting your bag, if you are stinky, if you do not have assets to make yourself successful, I'm not going to be taking any kind of disrespectful critiques
Right.
from anybody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could tell me like, oh, well, I think that you need to be a better person. Then, okay, how do I be a better person in your eyes? What the fuck does that mean? You know, like, let me know. Give me actual good critiques. Don't just tell me like, oh, you're a piece of shit. That doesn't tell me anything. I'm literally not a piece of shit. I'm literally a human
I'm a
being.
human.
It's kind of crazy.
That was so dope.
It's kind of
I
crazy.
agree. Like, honestly, like, you're not going to make me feel guilty just because of whatever your
Whatever you
decision
are
is.
feeling. Yeah, I'm not ashamed about how you feel. That's crazy. Like, you're not going to blame me for anything because I know what I've done and I know who
Right.
I am.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to be blamed for whatever
And I don't think there's
shortcomings
anything
you
wrong
have.
with that. Like, I think that's just living your life confidently. And, like, if people are going to try you like that, then they better be ready for the fire in the kitchen.
You know
That's
what
all
I'm
I'm saying.
saying? That's why I just thought it was so
That
weird
sounds
that that
aggressive,
guy...
but honestly, I feel like you need that energy to live in the world that we live in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
5 sure, actually.
5 sure.
Because, I mean, just with that interaction with that guy today, you know, about him thinking like, oh, that's so lonely that you go out by yourself. That's so crazy. Why would you do that? Like,
So
are
were
you
triggered by
trying
that.
to a little bit, because it's like, why do you think that way? You know what I mean? Like, are you trying to make me feel bad for
It
wanting
was
to
the
be
part
alone?
where he called you weird. Like, that's the
Yeah.
part that got me a little bit.
I'm like, I'm not weird though. Like, you're kind of
Well.
weird. Okay, well, yeah,
Right.
I am. Just a little abnormal. It's a cute kind of abnormal, I promise.
I'm quirky.
Quirky.
I'm quirky.
But
Then you shove your tits
not
on the
the
table.
quirky. You know, quarks are actually, no, never mind. That's super nerdy. Anyway,
Yeah. I know what you're going to say.
look it up. Well, look it up, y'all. Quarks.
So that was kind of like me going into the second question, which was, how do you move past that, the guilt? And
Perfect.
that's basically having like an empowerment over who you are as a person, which is the confidence, obviously. And then also forgiveness of other people that did you wrong, but also forgiveness for yourself of like, oh, I should have did this, or I should have did that, or should I called them more, or should have sent them a text a little bit more. But like,
at the end of the day, you are not in control of other people's emotions and their emotions towards you or what you've done, your behavior, their behavior. The only thing you are in charge of is yourself, your behavior, your own emotions. If other people feel,
unless you're a parent.
yeah, well, I mean, even if your parents feel a certain way towards you, even if your siblings, like other people that you are very close to, you know, if it was Merlin or if it was like some guy I'm talking to, they're trying to project their emotions onto me by making me feel guilty about something that either has nothing to do with me, something that has very little to do with me, or, you know, maybe it's something that happened way, way back in the past. Like, that is something that I am not in control of anymore. Like, what I am in control of is right here, right now, me right now, here in the present now. Not even like, will I be accountable for the future self of me? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if my mindset's going to change. I don't know if I'm going to have a bad day. Like, leave me alone.
Like, please.
First of all.
First of all, don't call me weird.
Yeah. But it's just more of like, why do you have like so much to say? Why do you want to make somebody else feel guilty? For your own ego? Like, really delve deep into your own self if you are finding yourself blaming other people for things that might not even be in their control. If it was something that happened in the past, you could ask them like why. You could ask them like what they were thinking at the time. You know, that would be
or asking yourself, what was I thinking, or what was I feeling?
Exactly.
To bring it a little bit more inward instead of like focusing on relationships.
Somebody else. Yeah.
Focus on yourself and how you can grow.
Exactly. And like, that's a beautiful thing to say, because it's like, I understand like people always want closure, and that is why I mentioned you should just ask them up front, communicate with them effectively.
I agree.
Ask them why. But if you don't have that option, then I mean, all you have to do is look at yourself and be like, why do I want to know this information? Like, will me knowing this information affect how I'm going to feel right now, and like how I'm going to feel later?
Exactly.
How am I feeling actually right now then? Like, what can I do to actually make myself feel better with my own actions? You know what I mean? Because you can't expect your boyfriend to bring you flowers just because you're having a shitty day. He doesn't know any of that, you know? Maybe he does. You know, maybe he does know, and maybe he will buy you flowers, or make you a chicken, or, you know, I don't know.
Buy a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, boys.
What a man.
If a man shows up at my door with a rotisserie chicken, I think I might fall in love.
Okay. Y'all heard it here first, y'all. Some chicken.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe.
Also.
Fresh.
So you would say moving past guilt is an inward battle as much as it is like a relationship healing process.
Definitely.
So.
Definitely. But also, like, your partner should not make you feel guilty about anything.
I agree.
I don't think that it's necessary for anybody to make other people feel guilty about anything that they've done, or, you know, something that their past like, that's why I don't blame my bullies for what they do. As long as they are growing as people currently, then I think that is all that is necessary. You know, that's all they can really ask for people. It's just like, learn from your past mistakes.
Period. And grow. Do better.
Yeah, you know.
That's all we're trying to do, y'all. We're trying to promote doing better.
Period, girl.
Let's see.
Her.
Ooh. What values do you have to combat guilty thoughts? So like, what kind of grounds you a little bit? Like, what brings you back to reality a little bit? Your morals, I guess.
Ooh. Do you have any? Do you want to go first?
Yes.
Perfect.
Or I can't go first.
Oh, you can't?
I can go first.
Oh, yeah, go first.
I would say honesty with myself, and honesty with those around me, and making sure that everybody is on the same page. Being authentic, you know, goes back into honesty, would be like my very first one, is like, how do I make myself feel like I'm this person?
Okay.
So
I like that.
Especially dealing with guilt. Being honest with yourself of like, am I guilty? If I am guilty, how am I going to correct this? How am I going to make this person understand where I was coming from in the moment? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Being honest with yourself and then communicating that honesty with another person in your relationship.
Ooh,
Let
okay.
that be your family or your boyfriend, girlfriend, your
Mm.
partner.
Ooh,
Also,
love that.
let's see, honesty, building, having at the core of all your relationships trust
Trust.
is
Yeah.
always going to be the number one thing for me, especially when it comes to my romantic relationships,
Mm-hmm.
is understanding that I'm never going to try to do you wrong,
Mm.
especially now in this person I am now,
Mm-hmm.
like making sure that they understand that I am here for you and me to grow into better people. And it's
Ooh,
very,
okay.
that's where spirituality comes in handy when building a relationship, is that you can go deep and you can make them understand how deep you feel about the connection.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay.
So
I like
building
that.
that trust deeper and deeper as y'all grow together, and
Mm-hmm.
letting them, connecting with them, every week, every month, and
Mm-hmm.
letting them understand that I'm still in here and I'm still like willing to like go 150 million% for this. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Wow,
So
I like that.
honesty, trust, are ways to combat guiltiness in my mind.
Like in a relationship wise, or
Just
like
like
just by yourself?
both
Okay.
both relationship,
Individually.
because it all starts with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and the relationship you have with yourself,
Yeah, that's true.
and then you're able to kind of like project that onto your relationships.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's very nice.
thank you.
Because I think, well, also in that facet, like treat others the way that you want to be treated,
Yes.
but also treat yourself the way that you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Just like Chloe says in her hit song, Treat Me.
Come on.
Treat me like I treat me.
Period. Her
And you
hit
know I do
song.
it right.
Go stream it. Go stream it.
Yeah, I do love her. She's amazing.
She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
But yeah, treat yourself like how you would want other people to treat you. Go take yourself out on a date. Be okay by yourself. If you have that confidence in yourself, like if you even have to just fake it till you make it, baby. Like, I was super uncomfortable at first going to places alone. But I realized that if I always had to wait on somebody else to do something fun, eat something good, or drink something that I want to drink, I will never be able to do it, because everybody has a different schedule. We're all adults now. And because we're all adults now, we have our own lives. We have our own lives. My life is separate from other people's. And it's okay. Like, I can always make more connections whenever I go out next. Like, I have to have confidence in myself that I am a good enough person for people to want to know. Like, and I know that because every time I go out by myself, I'm very comfortable with myself. Am like Marilyn Monroe, bitch. Those four corners in that fucking room are mine.
Period. Ooh.
I understand where all of the corners are. I see where all these people are. That's how she gets the attention that she deserves, because she grabs a room. She'll literally scan the room and she'll just be like, and I'm here.
And I'm here.
Yeah,
Y'all are welcome.
exactly. And the attention is always on her because she knows that this is confidence. Like, this is what it takes for me to understand that I am who I am. I am that bitch.
I like that because it kind of like forces you to put your head up a little
Yeah,
bit. You know what I
the
mean?
four
Like,
corners of the room.
yeah.
If at least four corners,
This
maybe,
one has a little bit extra.
maybe triangle. Yeah, maybe quadrilateral. Who knows?
Damn, okay.
Yeah, now I'm speaking all kinds of crazy.
I'm like, I don't know what that means. But, yeah. But yes.
But yes, yeah, just like be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. Talk to yourself. Like, even if it sounds fucking ridiculous, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you're gorgeous today. Like, I did that with myself today and I was like, damn, you look cute, girl. Oh my God. Like, no wonder these guys are falling for you.
Oh, period. Fools.
I know.
I
It's so crazy. I was
Oopsies.
like,
I love that.
I just
so,
feel cute.
confidence is definitely like something that you want to carry with yourself.
Yes, you have to. You've gotta. Like, it feels so fake at first, but then you start believing it. And then when you start believing it, you start treating yourself like it too. And that is ultimately what got me into my skincare, what got me into like, okay, I should have good habits. Like, I need to clean up after myself. I can't be like an oily girl anymore. I've gotta, I want to take pride in my appearance. So I'll dress up every day. I'll like wake up a little early, do my hair a little bit, put on some smell good, pack my
Yeah.
lunch, I like small things. It's the smallest things.
Taking
It's
care of yourself.
the most positive things that you could possibly say to yourself is the best,
I
even if
love
it
that.
sounds fucking fake, just
Hmm.
say it and you'll believe it
I agree.
eventually.
You seen those videos where like women are talking to themselves in the mirror and she's all like,
Period. Me.
basically you're that bitch.
Yeah,
Okay.
literally. And I am. Oops.
I do the same thing. I'll look at myself in the morning. I'm like, all right, well, we look okay, so let's do
Yeah.
this.
All right. Not the kind of vibe I was
I know,
going
right?
for.
No, 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 no.
Not the kind of vibe I was going for,
That's when I'm
but
going to work.
that's
That's
good.
when I'm going to events. It's a
Yes.
way different vibe.
It starts.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
it's,
sets the tone for the rest of the night when
you
you tell
know,
yourself that kind of stuff.
exactly. There you
So,
go.
period. So that's the way we kind of can like get ourselves out of the mindset of being guilty and like talking to yourself and
Yes.
hyping yourself up
Yes.
and, not letting people put you down
Yeah.
and letting yourself thrive.
What right do they
Because
have?
then you're just making yourself smaller for other people's perception of you, and you don't want to
Exactly.
do that, girl. Trust me.
Literally what I said last week. Like, you are yourself.
You were the one that said that, yeah.
You're not like, you're not anybody else, and nobody else is going to be you. You can't be taking so many other people's like word and their lives so seriously more than you do yourself. Like, why do you, if you would never say that to your best friend, why would you say it to yourself?
Period.
Period. I do call myself a fat bitch though, so, and I do
Don't
call
do
him
it.
a fat bitch.
She does.
Yeah. But it's all joking, I promise.
I'm dead.
Zoom in,
Ooh,
zoom
when should you admit when should you admit you need help with your guilty thoughts?
in. Ooh.
Like when does it get to like
When does it
remember
get to,
before this person you are now?
yeah.
Try to go back a little bit.
Man. Well, I would just say, like, what's done is done. Whatever happened had happened already. And again, like, you are not in control of anybody else. But in that same facet, nobody is in control of you. People can tell you all day to feel guilty for what you have done, but you have to recognize that they are coming from a place where only they have their own heart in mind. You know what I mean? Like, I've had people come up to me and try to make me feel guilty for like not telling them about my boyfriend's struggles, or like, not coming to them about getting an intervention done, or, about rehab. But they don't understand that the behind the scenes work I did was already with him in general. We were literally looking at rehab spots. We were looking at places that we could like do a payment plan with them. We tried to look up free resources. There were times that we were really serious about him getting clean, getting sober. And the thing is that we just can't hold each other accountable. And the thing is that we can't hold his family accountable either. Maybe they feel some sort of guilt because they never really got to like make amends with him, but that's not my fault. Their emotions projecting onto me is not my fault. Whatever they're feeling towards me is not me. I did not kill him. I did not tell him to do all these drugs. That was not me. I was there. I was trying to help him. I tried to help myself too by distancing myself from the situation. But the worse that it got, the worse that I felt by not being there. So I made myself feel guilty
Right.
because I wasn't there for him. But at the end of the day, I have to realize that's him. I'm not in control of him. This is his own life. Like, and it's far, far away from mine because I will never let myself get to that position. I can try and help all I want. And the only thing that honestly did for me was exhaust me. It exhausted my effort, my time for myself. I didn't take care of myself at all. Like, I never went to the gym like consistently, even though I said that I wanted to. I was so depressed. I didn't like eat right. I, would stay in my bed literally all day long. Like, I would just feel so disgusting and guilty and gross. But at the end of the day, like, you're not in control of all these other people, but I'm in control of myself. Like, in the future, am I going to be thanking myself for crying in bed all day? Or am I going to be thanking myself for making myself a good meal? And like,
Period.
you know, like hanging out with my cat, you know, shit. Like,
God bless him.
yeah. Now I'm very happy that I spent all that time with my cat.
Period.
Because I miss him.
I know.
I treasure each
I
moment.
love that cat.
Yes, period.
Um, so you would say like when you should get help in regards to your guilt is kind of like on that. I guess you wouldn't actually know that because he died.
Yeah, I mean, in general, the guilt though, like I can admit it to myself, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I told myself, okay, well, obviously these thoughts that I'm having are guilt. I don't know when that really occurred to me. It probably happened.
Did you seek therapy? You did seek therapy, right?
I couldn't. I mean, I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Oh, it was expensive, right? I remember that now.
Because I literally I lost my healthcare literally that summer. And then also COVID was ending that summer. So I had to get another job. And then I was also moving into
Right,
Emily's
I
house.
remember
So it was just like a lot of things happening all at once that I was
But
just
you
like,
saw Kat's therapist, right? For a
oh,
second.
yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah.
What did they say?
So she honestly wasn't super helpful.
Ooh.
Like, but also I have to say that like I also wasn't super helpful to her, because even though I did open up to her every once in a while, a lot of the time it wouldn't be anything like super crazy, but a lot of the things that I realized were just through my own work with myself. And like, while I don't want to admit like all of it was because of me, I think that she did help me a little bit by letting me talk and like you know, just recalling my experiences with him. But I don't know. I don't think that I really reached out to anybody to admit that I feel guilty. It more of was just like an inward thing for me to be like, I feel guilty because of this, you know, like I could pinpoint my exact emotions and my feelings. Like I am very in touch with my emotions. I've always have been, but that's also why I'm so anxious. It's because I think about it a little bit too
Yeah,
much,
too
you know, I
much.
ruminate a lot.
I feel
So,
that, me too. My Virgo moon.
you know,
LOL.
yes, girl,
Doesn't work
Cancer
out.
moon, period.
Yeah, same thing. IBS.
Yeah. Somebody help.
Okay, I feel that. I feel that. Nice.
But what about you? Have you?
I was just thinking that like when did I like kind of reach out for help finally was I've never been to therapy, but I have like reached out to my parents and told them like ways that I felt. And that was kind of like my moment for me like finally breaking down in front of my mom, and then my dad separately was a good like growing experience for our relationships, because I was very like stoic towards them. I would very
Okay.
much not tell them what was going on in my life. We wouldn't be in contact for sometimes months, depending on the person.
Damn.
Yeah, so eventually like coming out to them and saying like how I felt and like how I felt like my whole life was kind of falling apart. They finally understood where I was coming from. So admitting that you need help or admitting that you feel a certain type of way, in my opinion, is an opportunity for you to build a better relationship with your parents or your loved one or your boyfriend or girlfriend, partner. And just being goes back to the honesty, which is admitting to yourself that you need help and admitting to those around you that you need help, so that everybody's on the
Nice.
same page.
I do like that.
Yeah.
That's very true. I think that if I did admit to like the ones that I loved that I felt this way, then my healing process would have been a lot easier probably, you know, because I could have talked to them about my feelings, but I never really felt as supported as I
Yeah.
do now, you know what I mean? Like my friend groups were okay, but they weren't like super close to me, you know? But I also feel like that was a good learning experience for me, because now I can see who I can trust and who is going to be there for me and
Right.
that I can count on my family
What
to be there for
qualities
me,
do you admire in people, and which ones uplift you?
Yeah, And I think that's nice because I never really thought of my family in that way, but a lot of them showed up for me at his funeral. And that made me feel very like warm inside that I have such a strong like female support, feminine support behind me. And like a lot of my family was just so sad for me, and it felt like not good, but it felt communal almost
Right.
for all of us to be grieving, but only for me. They knew how much he had meant to me. They knew exactly like the feelings that I had just through watching me and go through my emotions as well. Like whenever I cried, they cried with me. They would hug me, they would hold me, they would tell me that it's going to be okay. I could feel them like crying even though they were wiping my tears away. Like it was a beautiful moment, honestly, for me to have with my family. So I kind of regret that I wasn't able to have something like that with my father and his part of the family. But at the same time, that's something that's like very machismo of them, but Asian style.
Yeah. Asian style
Yeah,
machismo.
because even whenever their mom had passed, they were very machismo about it. Like they
Right.
did cry, you could see that they had, but
But
it was
they're
more
trying
of
to show
like,
face a little bit.
yeah,
That's the problem with
True.
patriarchy, honestly. Like,
Honestly,
don't let nobody fucking cry.
it's okay to cry. It's okay to
Yeah.
have emotions.
Don't feel guilty about crying, homie. Like, let me hug you.
Now let me
Let
hug
me
you.
hug you, bro.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Damn, why is
But
it
there are
so
some,
hard?
I see it on like TikTok and stuff, like dudes like opening themselves up to it, but it's kind of in like a funny way. But I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, let's not make it funny. Let's make it a real thing.
Literally,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, you can be real
You
with
can
yourself.
you can do
You can be
that.
real with me too.
That makes me giggle. Like I just like having bros and like
Yeah.
masculine friendships and stuff like that. And
I like it too. But at the same time it's also
but also, yeah, let's be a little
like
bit,
what's going on with you
yeah, like
that
let's be
you
real.
can't be real.
I know, like that's something that I find with some of my guy friends is that some of them just don't let me.
Right? It's
Like
so
I'm like,
odd.
come here, like, give me a hug.
Yeah, they're like, that's fucking gay, bro.
I'm like,
Like,
damn, okay,
yeah.
homophobic. Yeah.
But kinda.
A little bit. Like I'm like, okay, shit.
But that's like literally what we had talked about whenever I was telling you about my day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, man, it's just so crazy because like I'm not trying to change nobody or anything, but at the same time, it's crazy to me that guys will go throughout their whole lives like in this way of thinking where they don't even like they don't recognize what they're thinking, is what they're thinking.
Dummies.
Yeah, like they don't realize that what they had gone through was kind of traumatic, and then they just like spill the beans because they don't think it's that traumatic.
Because
And
they
I'm
just
just
kind of like already compartmentalized it in their
yeah,
heads or whatever the fuck they did.
yeah, I'm like okay.
This one's kind of going back to our first episode that we ever had, which, or was there a second episode? Shadow work?
Oh yeah, that's the second one. Yeah.
Okay, shadow work. So, how does shadow work help with guilt?
Ooh,
Have you ever dabbled in shadow work recently, or
a little bit.
little
Whenever I was still visiting his grave,
right?
I did.
That's good shadow work moments.
Honestly, yeah.
How did that scene play out for you?
I did journal a lot. I would like
That's
do
a
a
good
whole
method.
picnic kind of deal. It was cute. I would have like a blunt. I would have my blanket on the ground. I'd have a sparkling water and my journal, and I'd be laying with my shoes off, with my hands on the grass, and I'd be like laying on top of his grave, and I would journal. I would journal about like how I had felt when before he passed, like how our conversation went, and I would just think about all the things in the past that had really truly affected me, like all of his lies, all of the like bad shit. I would think about all of the bad things that had happened in our relationship for me to have like been pushed over the edge for me to leave him. And then I thought about all the good things that would happen that, I don't think that I could replace, that I don't think that I would want to replace, because they were such beautiful moments that I don't,
Focusing on the gratefulness.
I don't think that I would have ever had that with anybody else if it came down to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good to reflect on both the bad and the good, though the bad really did outweigh a lot of the good, unfortunately. And in that way, I was like, okay, well, what was so bad about it? You know, like, why do I think that it was so bad? And why do I now have this standard, like, boundary now of like, I cannot accept anybody in this, like, kind of like background. I don't think that I'm ready for anybody who has had any kind of like run-ins with this kind of drug anymore, because like honestly that was just like such a crazy ride, and I really don't want to have to deal with that again, you know,
I feel like
especially
that's a fair boundary to have after what you've been through.
yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that I don't know, I think that that was what really came out of my shadow work with myself, was like, this is going to be my boundary, like this is where I draw the line for myself and for other
It's a
people
good
around
line.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. A nice, stable, solid line. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
But it took a while because there was a lot of like unsure, like I wanted closure so bad. I wanted answers to my questions so bad, but I knew that it wouldn't help at all. It would probably just make things worse.
Right.
And I would tell myself that out loud on his grave. I'm like, I have so many questions for you. And I know I already asked them whenever you had passed, but I think that now that I'm here in front of you again, I don't want the answers to any of these questions. I'm okay. I hope that you're at peace because I think I'm finally at peace with whatever had happened. And I'm going to let you rest because I have no more questions for you. Like, meaning I have no more questions for myself either. I know who I am. I know what I was doing, like what my motives were, my intentions were in that relationship. And that's all I can speak on, because whatever you went through is whatever you went through. And that's not something for me to say for you. Like, you said your piece and I've said mine. And that's okay. I'll leave it at that.
Period.
You know?
That's
Guilt
awesome. That's
chapter
a good shadow work
closed.
example.
Yes.
I love that. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Have you had
What
shadow
about
work?
me? Yeah, I do
What
shadow work
about
all the
me?
time.
Yeah.
But most of my shadow work is recently. I haven't had to delve deep into anything crazy. Some of my shadow work was having to deal with like I guess what happened in like high school, and I felt like I was doing that mostly during COVID, of like how I behaved and like what I didn't like and what I should have done, and stuff like that. And it all came down to, well, I'm sorry that you feel, it was like inner child work almost as well, because I was all like, I'm sorry that you feel like you didn't do enough at the time, but I'm here now. And I'm going to make sure that we never feel like that again. I'm going to do my best to make sure that we are becoming the best person that we can become. So just rest assured, calm down. You can trust me that I am steering and that we are going places.
Period.
So that's what my shadow work kind of like ends at, is like, if it's a lot of inner child work just because of like growing up gay and all that stuff. And like in a very like, I think masculine driven household.
For sure.
A lot of shadow work was put into that, healing my inner child and making sure that I'm able to be the most authentic self, where I was not allowed to do that when I was younger. So that's mostly where my shadow work, and not feeling guilty, embodying what I think a true man should be, embodying what I think a true bad bitch should be. It doesn't really matter about gender or like what you put out there, but as long as you are doing your best to be a good person and be a bad bitch, like you're basically a vibe-acious babe.
Yes, you are a vibe-acious babe.
Throw the fucking title in there. Like, I don't think you can do anybody wrong, like, especially if you're holding love at the center of it. Like,
that's true.
Stop.
Yeah. there shouldn't be any, there's like no negative connotation to just spreading kindness, you know, spreading compassion.
Yeah.
Being compassionate with each other.
I've gotten where people think I'm dumb because I give people who are homeless or running scams money, but I'm not even giving them that much money. I'm giving like $5. Yeah. And people will call me dumb, naive, like stupid, like for putting love out there like that.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, like, what are you actually providing the universe other
Yeah.
than just like drinking too much or
Yeah.
trying to satiate your sexual or
Period.
like pride or ego, like
There you go.
is
Exactly.
you're not doing anything, bro, like, or
Everybody has
sis,
their own
like.
desires, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
just because it's not the same as yours doesn't mean that it's wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody has their own kinks.
Period.
Everybody has their own fetishes. Everybody
No
has their
shame.
own, you know, just desires in general. People want different
And that's
things.
their business with their relationships that they have.
Just like how like people would rather pay money to live on a lot of land, and some people would rather pay that same amount of money to live in a skyrise. Like there's a big difference, you know, and it's okay. That just means that they're different people.
Yes.
Like with different, you know, statuses, different relationships to their own life, you know, and values, morals. Everybody is different.
Right.
Like there should
And
be.
that's what shadow work provides you.
Yeah,
Shadow
exactly.
work is nothing. I just want to clear up that like negative perception of it is that it's not going to bring negative entities into your house or anything like
No.
that. Like
No.
it's not going to bring a demon into your realm or anything like that. Like
No.
it, all it is looking at yourself and reflecting on all the negative parts that are you.
Yeah.
And honestly, the goal is to eventually become friends with your shadow, become friends with
Exactly.
your inner demon, and
Yes.
y'all are now working together to create this better life because your shadow work is
Period.
basically calling you out, like making you feel guilty for all this stuff for a reason so that you can look at it under a
Nice.
microscope and assess it and then make a better decision when it comes to another situation, I guess. I almost said person, but
I love
situation
that.
in general.
That's awesome. Yeah.
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 I know.
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram.
Stop.
Your last question is it ever a good thing to feel guilty? Is it only when you do something bad that you could feel guilty? Would you like to elaborate on that question?
um, you. Can you say it again?
Yeah. Pay attention this time.
I did, but you said it all weird.
Oh,
What the
is
heck?
it ever a good thing to feel guilty? We'll start with that question.
Is it ever a good thing to feel guilty? Honestly, where I was going with that is I don't think that it is a good thing to feel guilty. Like, yeah, I understand, you know, you might have some regrets in your life, but those are just mistakes that you can learn from,
Yes.
you know? Like,
I always say like if you're human, you're gonna feel guilty.
yeah.
Like it's not a yes or a no. It's just like you're gonna feel guilty.
Yeah. It's just about making peace with that guilt and like
Right.
how you do and what that guilt really meant to you. You know, why did you feel guilty about like stealing that cookie? Was it because you stole it? You know what I mean?
Are you calling me out?
No, I stole an extra one, okay, for you.
And you didn't feel guilty.
And I ate it.
And you didn't feel guilty still.
No,
You monster.
because
No, I'm
I'll
just
earn
kidding.
that cookie.
Period. You did. You've been pushing that cardio, bitch. I see.
You know what I'm saying? Period. But
Yeah.
also not just that. It's just like I like don't feel guilty. I don't know. Just it's hard to face your guilt. It's hard to face your emotions just generally, I think. Everybody can admit that. It's something that is just so like far beyond a lot of other people's emotional capabilities, but also those people probably wouldn't be feeling guilty anyway. You know, those people who aren't capable of overcoming guilt are probably not feeling guilt in any like capacity.
Yes.
You
And
know?
understanding that those people are coming probably from a place of like mental illness.
Yes.
And like,
right.
you know, maybe chemical imbalances in their brains.
Possibly,
like, you know,
yes.
having compassion for those people who are negative and putting negative out there, it's probably because of there's something deeply wrong with them. And that's not your mission to fix unless you really want to go out there and do that kind of stuff, which I applaud you if you do that.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody else's problems are my problems, but I did tell you before that I just think that my purpose in life is just to be here for people. And I think that I can change a lot of people's minds just by being there for them or like, you know, providing a different perspective for them.
Yes.
And it's not anything that takes away from my energy, because I already have this energy and I'm already just putting it out there. You know what I mean? So it's up to other people to accept that energy or not. Just like how it's your, on your own prerogative to match that energy, to accept other people's energy. Like whatever negative energy you feel, you don't have to take it in. You don't have to reciprocate it back either. Like you could just let it be in the universe. You can just let it go and it'll find its next victim, or maybe it'll just hit the person who is sending it to you anyway. Like that shit doesn't bother you. It doesn't faze you. It shouldn't, because it's not your feelings. You shouldn't be feeling any kind of way, shape, or form about other people's feelings that they're pushing on you. I think that would be so crazy nowadays. I used to let people do that a lot because I was a people pleaser. So I would want to take care of people's troubles and their emotions and everything. It's not my job anymore. Like I have to take care of my own like emotions, my own stability,
That's
my
where
own
I come at
peace
as
of
well.
mind. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give it my insight if you want it, but like if you don't want it and you feel like I'm on a high horse, I am more than capable of like keeping it to myself.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I usually do,
I usually do.
unless you ask me straight up to like give you my opinion, then yeah, I will.
Yeah.
But
before I give a card reading, I'm always like, "Are you sure you want this?" Like, because I might be giving some unsolicited advice like through these cards, and it's not me; it's really your spirit guides talking to you. So
exactly.
don't blame me. Don't get mad at me.
Yeah.
Is it only when you do something bad that you could feel guilt?
Oh, okay.
Can you feel guilt from, I guess, I feel...
I don't know what else.
I was like, what are you trying to say here, girl?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Oh, I feel like because you also put in parentheses, grief can cause guilt, which we already touched on.
Yes.
Pretty good. So
yeah. So
I
that's
guess
good.
that's it. Yeah. At the end of the day, what would you say?
Guilt is something that is natural. It's not bad, it's not good, but it could go either way depending on how you take it. Like you're in charge of your own guilt, you're in charge of your own emotions. You are in control of yourself, your behaviors, the way that you react, but you are not in charge, nor can you control other people's behaviors, feelings, beliefs, morals, values. That's not for you. Like, that's not for you. That's not for you to judge. That's not for you to shame people. That's not for you to guilt trip people. Whatever you're feeling, like, actually get in touch with those feelings first before you try and either come at somebody or, talk to somebody in a special way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
always come from a place of love, y'all. Like, honestly, if you live
yes.
your life with love, which is the highest vibration out here,
Period.
like, you're going to make strides.
Exactly. It's not hard. It's not hard either.
It's pretty hard. You're like, wait. It's not hard for us because I feel like we have emotional placements.
That's true.
Or like signs that are very emotional in our placements.
That's true.
Like I'm a Leo, very loyal, and you're a Sagittarius, which is the most spiritual of the signs.
Wow, that makes sense, I guess, huh?
I'm not trying to put it all on astrology, but it is what it is.
But
alrighty, so the end of the card. Or the end of the episode card.
God.
I don't know how to say this yet, but I'm gonna call it the end of the episode card. Queen of Swords, in conjunction with the Page of Cups.
Okay.
So I would say you might be feeling your emotions. You might be feeling like you're very what's the word? Immature, almost. You might be feeling like you're overwhelmed with your emotions. But understanding that the Queen of Swords is here, which is a person who is feminine, which is meaning nurturing, caring, can be also analytical with those emotions. So being able to justify and make yourself feel comfortable, and then tackling your emotions with mental fortitude, basically. Okay. What do you think? Do you feel like that makes sense?
It does. It does. And I think that I'm getting to that point where I'm getting a little better at fortifying my
mental space.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Because it took a long time. It still is. It's taking some time. It's very easy for me to like fall into traps, but I have way better instinct at detecting the traps.
Period.
The intuition, I'm trusting her now. I used to go against her a lot, and that was a big no-no.
Yeah, that's where people fall apart.
Yes, ma'am.
What brings this to mind was feeling the guilty energy and just lying in bed and feeling like ashamed and like
I can't let myself do it anymore.
That's where the Queen of Swords would come in and be like, well, let's think about this. Let's eat something. Let's go to the gym. And then we'll see how we feel. You know what I mean? Think about it.
This is good for you.
It's good to take a moment and put those emotions aside and actually analyze them analytically for a second, for like maybe 30 minutes, 20-minute meditation maybe, journaling, and then going on with your day.
Yeah, period. It's beautiful.
Period.
So we will be working on our gratitude for next week. This is our little experiment. We're going to see how we feel after practicing a full week of it. Do you want to like elaborate on how you're going to show gratitude to yourself?
Every day I kind of just want to, look in the mirror and tackle the day with as much positivity as possible. It might be exhausting, you know what I mean? Feeling grateful for my relationships, feeling grateful for the opportunity to still make as many relationships as possible. Like I am viewing this part of my life as, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to approach it with love and interests.
Period.
Yeah.
Good.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We'll see
I'm excited.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm going to definitely do journaling a lot for sure. I want to start my day off with like 3 things that I'm grateful for. I think that that's like something that I've been seeing a lot of women doing, and it's like really tapping into their positive energy. So I really like that, especially when I'm starting the day off at like 7 in the fucking morning. So gotta practice gratitude somehow, you know, because it's hard to get up at that time, you know what I mean?
There's this practice called Aztec sun worshiping, and it's basically like giving thanks to the sun.
I love that.
So that's the first thing that I'm going to be doing is like, oh, thank God the sun rose today. I need this vitamin D.
Yes.
I'm also a Leo, so worshiping the sun, which is like in air quotations. Yeah. Basically just being grateful for the natural world around me and seeing how awesome it is, you know what I mean? Just for being here on this planet, you know, it's kind of crazy.
Even though it's
very
fucking
hippy
hot,
dippy.
It's
very hippy dippy,
but I like it. It made me feel good on the inside. Yeah. Don't question it.
Period.
Again, y'all, you can follow us at vibe-acious babes on Instagram. You can also see us on YouTube. We will have more episodes out on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, and Amazon Music coming this weekend. So right now, only 2 through 5 are available on Spotify, but today it'll change. Maybe by 1. Yes, and then the Fire Nation attacked.
Small changes are good.
Yes, and again, you can see Angel and his lovely work at deity_studios on Instagram, as well as his Instagram page at Avocado Puppy. And he also does live streams on his YouTube channel at Avocado Puppy Art. Live stream Sunday at 7:30?
7 o'clock, 7:30.
7 o'clock, 7:30. Sound like that. If you follow him on Instagram, he'll always post up his link on there, so you can just watch on your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, period.
So if you like thirst traps, go follow me also.
Period. He does show a lot of ass, y'all.
I'm trying to cover all bases.
Yes, yeah, all those OnlyFans.
Trying to get famous here, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Y'all follow me on Instagram as well at first.generation, and y'all find me on YouTube. Period. I have my game streams already up. I will be posting those travel vlogs soon. And hopefully I'll be working on some more stuff for these like web developing exercises and projects. So y'all keep an eye out. Bye.
Bye, y'all.